Atoms join together to form compounds that are held together by ionic bonds. Sodium chloride is such an example. It is our table salt. Sodium has an atomic number of 11 and its atomic mass is 23. Chlorine has an atomic number of 17 and an atomic mass of 35. Let's draw sodium. Sodium has 11 protons and 12 neutrons. It also has 11 electrons. So 2 electrons are placed in the first shell and the 8 electrons are in the second shell. We have 1 electron left, and that is in the outer shell or valence shell. The outer shell is not filled. So let's take a look at chlorine. Chlorine has 17 protons and 18 neutrons. It will have 17 electrons. So the first shell has 2 electrons. The second shell will have 8 electrons. 2 plus 8 is 10. So we still have 7 electrons left, and that will go on the outer shell. And this outer shell is not complete. It needs 1 more electron to complete its shell. So when sodium comes in contact with chlorine, it donates an electron to chlorine. When this happens, the sodium has its second shell filled and chlorine has its outer shell filled as well. However, since sodium has donated an electron, the charge of sodium changes. It becomes more positive because it has given up 1 negative charge. The chloride, on the other hand, has received an electron, and so it has received a negative charge, and so it has 1 extra negative charge. As a result, chlorine becomes a chloride ion, which is now negative. The opposites attract, and these 2 ions are held together by an ionic bond, and that's how we get sodium chloride. So let's look at another example of an ionic bond. This time, we'll look at potassium chloride. Potassium has an atomic number of 19 and an atomic mass of 39. Chlorine, as we know, has an atomic number of 17 and atomic mass of 35. So let's draw potassium. Potassium has 19 protons and 20 neutrons. So it should have 19 electrons to start with. So we'll put 2 on the first shell. We know that the second shell should contain 8. So that's 8 electrons. The third shell will also contain 8 electrons. So that's 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. We still have 1 electron left. We need to create another shell, and in that shell we'll put the last electron. Remember, this shell is by no means filled. Chlorine, as we did earlier, 17 protons and 18 neutrons. The inner shell contains 2 electrons. The next shell will contain 8. So 2 plus 8 is 10. So we need 7 more electrons on the outer shell. If chlorine receives 1 more electron, then its shell will be filled. So the potassium is going to donate an electron to chlorine, as we saw earlier with the sodium. And this will allow potassium to have its third shell filled. And as a result, potassium becomes positive because it loses an electron. So we have 19 positive charges and only 18 negative charges. It's a positively charged ion. Chloride, on the other hand, has become negative because it has received an electron and received an extra negative charge. So chloride ion and potassium ion, opposites attract, and they form potassium chloride, and this is held together by an ionic bond. Let's recap what we know about ionic bonds. Ionic bonds are weak bonds. They are broken easily, even in the presence of water. We know that they are formed by donating or receiving electrons. They are formed between oppositely charged ions. The examples of compounds that are held together by ionic bonds are sodium, potassium chloride, and calcium chloride.